to have you join us at this hour for news and updates from across the world in politics, health, science, business, sports, entertainment, and more. I'm Timothy Crown at Derby. First, the headline. Supreme Court holds MARYAM SANDA'S death sentence for killing her husband. Abuja High Court remands former Labour Minister Chris NGIGE in KUJE Correctional Center. Gunmen kill 17 internally displaced people returning home in TARABA State. Let's dive into the crux of the bulletin, shall we? We begin in Abuja, where the Supreme Court has upheld the death sentence imposed on MARYAM SANDA by the Court of Appeal. Sanda was sentenced to death for the killing of her husband, Biliamin Bello, at their Maitama home in 2017. Sanda, the daughter-in-law of a former national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, was convicted on January 27, 2020 by an Abuja High Court, which found her guilty of fatally stabbing Bello. She was subsequently sentenced to death by hanging. She had spent about 6 years and 8 months at the Suleja Correctional Center before President Bola Tinubu granted her clemency, reducing the sentence to 12 years imprisonment. Sanda was included in the President Tinubu's clemency list, which generated debate by Nigerians. The Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, later defended her inclusion in the presidential pardon list, saying it was granted on compassionate grounds and in the best interest of her children. However, in a split decision of 4-1, a 5-member panel of the Apex Court today reinstated the original death sentence. The court dismissed her appeal in its entirety, ruling that she failed to show any error in the concurrent findings of the lower court. Still in the court, the Abuja High Court has ordered the former Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris NGIGE, be remanded at the KUJE Correctional Center. This followed the arraignment of the former Minister and former Governor of Anambra State by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, over an allegation of 2.2 billion naira contract fraud. Justice Miriam Hassan of the Abuja High Court, sitting in Gwanripa, ordered the remand pending the hearing of his bail application fixed for Monday, December the 14th. NGIGE pleaded not guilty to 8 counts bordering on abuse of office and acceptance of gifts from contractors of the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund, while he served as its supervising minister between September 2015 and May 2023. And to security, after what appeared to be some relief, there have been a resurgence of attacks in Taraba State where armed suspected Jukun militia have reportedly killed at least 17 people. The attack, reported to be coordinated, was launched on residents and internally displaced people just returning to their ancestral home in Ajogo village in Wokari Council area of the northeastern state. According to Zagazola Makama, a counter-terrorism publication, 8 other residents were injured during the attack, which occurred in the early hours of Wednesday. And in politics, in Rivers State, there are indications that all is not at ease yet in the political space of the oil-rich state. This follows the accusation of the state governor, Siminalayi Fubara, by the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Martin Amawele. Amawele is accusing the governor of dishonesty in his engagement with the state lawmakers. The governor had a day earlier dismissed any disagreement between him and members of the state assembly, and that is yet to meet the lawmakers after their prolonged face-off. But the speaker, during a press conference, countered the governor's position, saying they've met twice after the state of emergency rule, where all parties were to comply with the terms of the peace deal. Still in politics, the Labour Party has ruled out granting Peter Obi an automatic presidential ticket for the 2027 general elections. The party emphasized that all aspirants, including high-profile figures like Obi, must contest through the party's primaries to secure the nomination. Labour Party's National Publicity Secretary Obiora Ifo stated that tickets will be decided at the party convention and warned that no candidate will receive special treatment. He noted that Obi's limited engagement with the party leadership in recent months adds uncertainty to his candidacy. The decision reflects Labour Party's commitment to internal democracy, ensuring that what happened in 2023 when Obi emerged as the candidate with minimal contest will not be repeated. The party also expressed concerns over Obi's involvement in coalition discussions outside the party, describing it as contrary to Labour Party's interest. Still in politics, the BORNO State Independent Electoral Commission has expressed readiness for tomorrow's local government election. The chairman of the commission, Dairo Shetima, confirmed that both sensitive and non-sensitive materials have been dispatched ahead of the poll. We have more in our next report.
Security agencies in Borno State have stepped up preparations ahead of Saturday, December 13th local council elections, deploying personnel across the state's 27 local government areas to safeguard the process and escort electoral materials to their destinations. The Borno State Independent Electoral Commission says it has created an enabling environment for all eligible voters, confirming that both sensitive and non-sensitive materials have been dispatched, while staffs have been trained and assigned to main polling units to ensure an inclusive, orderly and credible exercise.
This election, we have mapped out a strategy that it is going to be all inclusive, no segment of the society that will be left out.
Representatives of political parties who monitor the distribution of materials in Maiduguri commended the Commission's proactive logistics, noting that the early deployment would minimize delay often experienced in rural communities.
All the sensitive materials and the non-sensitive materials are ready. They have provided everything and we have observed, and we just pray that the election should be conducted peacefully.
Electoral officers assigned to various local government areas, including resettled areas, also confirmed readiness to deliver on their duties, assuring that all eligible citizens, women, persons with disabilities, and all voters above 18 with their voter card would be allowed to exercise their franchise.
And we are going to allow everybody to cast, to exercise his franchise.
Borno State Independent Electoral Commission maintains that all systems are in place, from logistics to security arrangements, to guarantee a peaceful and credible election across Borno State, which is just few hours away.
Back home in Lagos, the state governor Babajide SANWO-OLU has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to completing the multi-phase ADIYAN WATERWORKS project, describing it as a central pillar in the state plan to expand potable water access to millions of residents. The governor said this on Friday today during a walking visit to ADIYAN Phase 2 and the Akute intake station, where he conducted a detailed assessment of ongoing civil works, pipeline installations, and future electromechanical components. Governor SANWO-OLU explained that ADIYAN Phase 2, designed to produce 70 million gallons of treated water per day, is one of the most important water infrastructure projects in Lagos State. Lawmakers are asking domestic airlines to slash airfares by at least 50% this festive season, warning that high ticket prices are putting a heavy financial burden on Nigerians traveling home for Christmas. Please find out more of the debate in this next report.
Members of the National Assembly are making case for a reduction in cost of air travel. The lawmakers raised concern that rising domestic airfares risks making travel unaffordable for ordinary Nigerians, particularly during the Christmas rush.
From Abuja to Lagos ranges from 400 to 650,000. Even from here to Ilorin.
Abdul Fattah said air travel should not become a luxury at a time when families are trying to reunite, warning that excessive fares could force many travelers onto unsafe roads.
Concerned that the soaring cost of domestic air travel have created a barrier preventing many from returning to their ancestral homes, where shared laughter and family connections are meant to thrive and improve our self-worth.
There have not been any increase in ATK, the fuel used by air operators. The same pay unit price they were buying in January is the same amount they are buying now in December. So for them to tell us it is because of the increase in air, the fuel, it is unacceptable.
They call on airlines to reduce social responsibility by temporarily reducing fares, saying it would ease holiday travel for millions of Nigerians. The lawmakers maintain that domestic air travel is a national asset and must remain accessible, especially during peak holiday movement, so more Nigerians can safely journey home this Christmas.
Business leaders and lawmakers have renewed calls for greater investment in young innovators, stressing that Nigeria's economic future depends on empowering entrepreneurs with the tools and environment they need to thrive. Check our next report for more on that story.
Business leaders and policymakers have called for increased support for young innovators, stressing that entrepreneurship remains central to Africa's long-term economic growth. They spoke at an economic development summit where stakeholders reviewed ways to strengthen Nigeria's business environment and boost youth participation in enterprise. Convener of the summit and business expert, Elvis Abuyere, said Nigerians must deepen their confidence in local talent to unlock the country's economic potential, noting that empowering young people remains a sustainable strategy to reduce idleness and curb security challenges in communities.
We believe that the ways of doing business have changed and young entrepreneurs need to know how to navigate into an evolving world, and we have put together speakers in different aspects who have done well in area of entrepreneurship, business development, and empowered not just Nigeria but Africa at large, so that these young ones can listen to them, share their success story, their challenges, and can be able to run with whatever idea that God has given to them. The message we are passing across that they should not just fold their hand insulting the government, say it's not working. Yes, Nigerians government are trying, but we know we expect so much from them, and that's why I've told young entrepreneurs that radical economic transformation is no longer what we demand from the government anymore, but what we demand from ourselves as a great citizens of this country.
The House of Representatives promised the commitment of the 10th National Assembly to eliminate barriers to business growth.
I can assure you that this 10th National Assembly is doing everything possible to ensure that the barriers towards scaling of businesses, of entrepreneurs are removed, be it stringent policies, be it multiple taxations, be it all of that. This 10th National Assembly is doing everything within its powers to ensure that the playing field is level for entrepreneurs to thrive in Nigeria.
Participants at the event emphasized that meaningful economic transformation requires active citizen involvement and cannot be driven by government efforts alone.
On the foreign scene, Secretary General of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, Mark Rutte, is calling for a rapid rise in defense spending to prevent a war similar to those seen by past generations. The NATO chief was speaking at Munich Security Conference in Berlin, where he warned that members of the alliance could be Russia's next target. He was speaking at the conference where European leaders discussed a peace proposal designed to end Russia's years-long war in Ukraine against a backdrop of growing U.S. pressure. According to him, quote, "Russia has brought war back to Europe, and we must be prepared for the scale of war our grandparents and great-grandparents endured." End of quote. He warned that Russia could be ready to use military force against NATO within 5 years. Welcome to sport. Nigeria's Super Falcons have dropped one place to 37th in the latest FIFA Women's World Ranking released by the Global Football Governing Body. The nine-time African champions had been ranked 36th in the previous table but slipped slightly after a period of inactivity in the most recent international window, which affected their ranking points. Despite the marginal drop in global standing, the Super Falcons remain highest-ranked women's national team in Africa, ahead of South Africa with 55th position, Ghana 62nd position, Zambia has a 64th, and Morocco 66th. The ranking reflects a competitive landscape in African women's football, but underscores Nigeria's continued continental leadership. Nigeria's recent fixtures included 2026 WAFCON qualifying matches against Benin Republic, but the team did not participate in other international fixtures during the ranking period, contributing to their slight downward movement. And ahead of the AFCON happening this month, Super Eagles head coach Eric Chell has released Nigeria's final 28-man squad for the 2025 African Cup of Nations, with goalkeeper Francis Uzoho and striker Paul Onuachu making surprise returns, while Udinese goalkeeper Maduka Okoye has been dropped. Despite injury concerns, Stanley Nwambali keeps his place with Uzoho and Amas Obasoge completing the goalkeeper list, but forward Tolu Arokodare was left out of the final list. The coach also excluded several other previously shortlisted players, including Victor Boniface, Nathan Teller, and Kelechi Iheanacho. New faces like Rihanna Lebioshu, Igor Ogbu, Ebenezer Akinsomiro, and Tochukwu Nnadi will join established stars Victor Osimhen, Ademola Lookman, and Wilfred Ndidi for Nigeria's campaign in Group C, where they face Tunisia, Tanzania, and Uganda starting December the 23rd. Welcome to entertainment. The entertainment space is buzzing once again, and this time it's T-Dollar at the center of the conversation after stepping out in a full frontier wig, a hairstyle traditionally made for ladies, now confidently rocked by him as part of his latest creative rollout. Fans say the bold look sits perfectly on his Ogba persona, adding a fresh twist to the identity he has built over time. The wig moment didn't come alone. Alongside his photos and videos, T-Dollar dropped light-hearted notes, including one saying Yoruba girls are the prettiest, and another teasing that boys go rock wig tire this December. Both posts instantly caught attention and have since become part of a growing excitement surrounding his new music push. Known originally as a dancer before venturing into music, T-Dollar's shift into a more expressive, playful image is being embraced by supporters who call themselves Ogba Nation. His girlfriend, popularly referred to as Iyawo Ogba, has also stepped into the spotlight, with him amplifying the momentum around the new look and the music it's helping promote. For many fans, the frontier wig isn't just a style choice. It's another example of T-Dollar's confidence and his ability to turn an ordinary moment into a full-blown cultural talking point. And from the reaction so far, Ogba Nation is fully behind him as it blends fashion, humor, and music into one December wave. That's where we'll draw the curtain on this broadcast on Africa News 24 TV. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please stay connected with us on all our social media platforms, and don't forget to visit our website at africanews24.ng for the latest updates. I'm Timothy Crown at Derby Gate. Have a restful weekend.